Well, class was in session for thousands of public elementary and high school students today. A strike that threatened to shut down multiple schools across the GTA averted after the province reached a tentative deal with the union representing 55,000 education workers. It was a tense weekend, but this morning, relieved parents were able to drop their kids off at school, happy that it was business as usual. At Jackman Avenue Junior Public School, parents were lucky to have the school's daycare stay open for at least a week if a strike occurred. Still, they say it's been a hectic week of contingency planning.
Our employer had, to deal with things too, with people working from home and canceling meetings. So it was a bit of a potential crisis.
I'm glad they have a resolution, and I hope it's a fair deal.
I'm a teacher myself, and I understand the process in terms of collective bargaining. Yes, it is frustrating for everyone to have that kind of unknown and live in two worlds like, we did this weekend until last night.
Ontario's public school teachers and education workers have been on the job without a contract since August 31st. CUPE represents support staff, including clerical and custodial workers, as well as early childhood educators. Last Monday, its members first took job action, initiating a work to rule campaign. Just days after the campaign began, CUPE announced its members would walk off the job if a deal wasn't reached by midnight on Monday. Just 3 hours before the midnight strike deadline, Education Minister Stephen Lecce announced that a tentative deal had been reached and schools would remain open. What was your reaction when you first found out that you'd have to be back in class this morning?
I just didn't want to get out of bed. I was hoping that the strike would go on for a long time.
I know that students maybe weren't happy. They were probably hoping for a couple of days off school, but you could tell that the parents are thrilled, our members are thrilled, our colleagues are thrilled, and students will eventually realize what we did for them too.
Throughout negotiations, the province emphasized that the main sticking point was absenteeism. Walton says that sick leave remains unchanged in the new deal. Well, speaking of absenteeism, the union has said that they made no concessions there, that they've kept their sick days. Could this have been done earlier if that had already been discussed last weekend?
Certainly, I would have preferred to get this done a week ago. Our mission through this process was to provide stability for families. As you know, we extended dates last Sunday, but we are now here where we've provided that certainty. We've landed a deal.
We're doing this against the backdrop of a federal election. Do you feel that the optics of not reaching a deal with the province had an effect or worked in your favor in these negotiations?
I think there's been more focus on the optics than maybe we had at the negotiations team. Yes, there's a federal election. We know that it's going on, but it really hasn't entered into it.
Back at school, though, not all students are disappointed about having to go back to class.
Happy.
Why?
Because I like my teacher this year, and all my friends are in my class.
Now, the deal will still need to be ratified by CUPE members in more than 100 bargaining units across the province. I'm told the goal is to have that done by November 1st. In Toronto, Erica Natividad, City News.